Hi everybody, Jeremy Siskin here. I'm the author of the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series, solo standards for piano, playing solo jazz piano, and much more. Go over to jeremysiskin.com, check it out, treat yourself, and more than anything, treat me. But speaking of treats, today's video is really a treat for me and hopefully for you too. You know, a lot of my videos are pedagogical, practice this, you must. But today, I'm considering something a little bit more fantastical, which is, what if I were a giant? And here's what I mean. A few weeks ago, you might have seen that I made a video with the Athena keyboard, and I have it laid out here. The Athena keyboard is a narrow key keyboard. It has, and I might be getting these facts like not exactly correct, so just apologies. It has a 5.5 inch octave rather than a 6.5 inch octave. And you can really see the difference between the keys. I have my normal Mason & Hamlin piano here. Look at that key size, and then check out the key size of the Athena keyboard here. And so I can go from reaching a 10th uncomfortably to reaching a 12th uncomfortably on this keyboard. So this is about as close as I'm going to ever get to being a giant. And so the question that I wanted to pose to myself and let you all be here on the journey is, what kind of voicings would I make if I could reach further? And thanks to things like the Athena keyboard and some other really cool developments going on to, you know, recognize that we don't all have the same hand size, and yet we all want to play the same great music. Thanks to those developments, it's actually a relevant question that I can play around with and enjoy. So, you know, I thought we would start first of all with voicings that aren't necessarily expansive, but are more dense. So, for instance, if I'm playing a 10th on a normal keyboard, I can sometimes grab the 7th. But on this keyboard, I can play this full C major 7 chord. And really, if I wanted to, it's a little bit of strain there, I could add a 5th note, because now I'm not stretched to my maximum. So I can imagine, you know, hey, hands free. You know, I could do all kinds of kind of different things while I play that 10th that would be impossible for my hand to do on another keyboard type, right? There's a diminished chord with E, with the 10th from C to E, or let's see, this is gonna sound weird. I don't hate it. Something I've never played in my life because I couldn't reach it. Not the worst sound. I'm really not getting paid to do this, but this keyboard also sounds really good. And when things sound, when like the tuning is like really, really great, I feel like I can lean into more dissonances. So you might be finding that here too, that I'm leaning into some different dissonances than I would on a piano. How about something like this, like a D major kind of thing over E? That's actually pretty comfortable to reach. That's nice, like a D half diminished or F minor 6. So yeah, if I were a giant or B flat in the middle of that 10th, this might be one of the first things that I do. I'd experiment. There's some different triads that I could fit between this 10th, right? The next thing that I want to do is I want to expand beyond the 10th, right, to an 11th, maybe a tritone. Or then even, you know, something like this is actually not even that big of a strain on my hand, right? I'm playing both the F and the G with my thumb. Here again, I'm playing double thumbs, and I do love experimenting with the double thumb because it just makes the reach so much less. This is a very useful voicing here. The root, the 7th, the 3rd, and I get the 11th here. Same voicing on black keys. playing that all with one hand. Can you believe it? I can hardly believe it. It's so weird. I could add that if I wanted. So it's like a D major over A. Of course, I don't have to use the double thumb, but it does make everything a little bit more comfortable. But I could, I could play this with just one. And actually for me, like, the first thing I showed you, filling in more notes between the tenths, to me is more useful than adding beyond the tenth. Because, in most types of music, and jazz especially, having that root and third is so crucial. So, like, I want to hit that tenth regardless. So I'm a little bit more interested in being able to fill in different ways creatively between the tenth and expanding beyond it. But now let's add two hands together. And let's be in the key of F just so that we don't go crazy with possibilities. So one first thing I always want to try is like, okay, so, in jazz we often stack fourths, right? In the McCoy-Tyner kind of style. But we're always limited to 6 notes stacked in fourths. But with this keyboard, I could actually have 4 notes stacked in fourths just in one hand. And I could then do the other hand. So that's all of the notes of F Mixolydian arranged into a quartal voicing. And I could even put that on top of 5-1. Does that sound amazing? That's another question for another day. In that register, it sounds a little bit better. And if I want to really go like in an interesting way, I'd move just about everything up by a half step. Woo! That's spicy. So fourth is one possibility. Another possibility is, making voicings that require big reaches in both hands. So for instance, what if I combined these two hand shapes? And I'm choosing my hand shapes because I'm trying to find places where I'm reaching more than a 10 in both hands, and I'm not doubling it all. So this would be like potentially for an F major 7 sharp 11. Or, check that out. Now I've got that double thumb in the left hand. I guess I could do that in the right. Woo. There's so many possibilities now because my hand just isn't stretched to its limit point when I play a 10th, or even here when I play an 11th. How many notes are in this voicing? I think I've got all of the notes of an F Lydian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So something must be doubled here. I don't see where it is. Oh, I've got 2 Ds. I've got 2 Ds. Shame on me. But I guess when you have 8 notes, you're inherently going to have something doubled. I also love a double diminished sound, right? Stacking a 4-note diminished chord in the left with a 4-note in the right. And without adding anything, I can double the outside notes. I can already do that on a normal piano, but what about... what could I do here? This would be a big stretch on a normal piano, but it's relatively benign. It's pretty comfortable on this piano. So I'm doing that same double diminished, but now in tenths. But I should be able... See, I don't even think of these possibilities because it's like so ridiculous. So now I've got an octave and a half in this diminished chord, plus an octave and a half. Let's make this go a little bit higher. I'm not sure. I think it's a little bit too low. So, and there we go. So here's what I'm playing in the left hand. It's a spread out diminished chord. You can't play it unless you have an Athena keyboard at home. I definitely could not play this on a non-narrow key piano. That's fun. That's something I have never ever considered playing in my life. I know I said I was going to do everything on F, and then I just completely abandoned ship when I started getting ideas. Or what about a whole tone voicing? Let's see. So I can do all that in one hand, which really there's only one note left in the whole tone scale. But maybe I can spread some stuff out. And I can't reach that with a note in between, even on this instrument. Kind of interesting. I like that. So I'm using that double thumb. This one's just a regular old 10th. What I'm going to try to do now to conclude this video, it's been absolutely not educational at all, but maybe you've enjoyed hearing my thought process behind, like, first, what can we add in between a 10th? Because that 10th is so important. And then how can we expand past it? How can we think about different voicing categories like fourths and diminished and whole tone? And how can we still avoid doublings? That's always in my in the forefront of my brain when I'm thinking about creating voicings. So maybe what I'll do at the end here is I'm going to play a version of Body and Soul, and I'm going to try to lean into voicings that I couldn't normally play. This is probably going to be a mess. I don't think it's going to be my most professional performance ever, but I just want you to hear me struggling. Struggling's not even the word. Attempting some possibilities that I've never ever had the chance to attempt before. So exciting to me. Yeah, it's so funny trying something like that because you realize that your style of playing has developed around what you physically can and can't do. And as soon as that changes, it's like, well, actually, what do I want to play? So it's a really revelatory, revealing experience trying this keyboard out. And I recommend you guys all check out their website. If you go to narrowkeys.com, you could try out this Athena keyboard, or you can't. I don't think you can just try it out, but you can learn a lot more about this Athena keyboard. I have the NK 5.5301. It's a trip. It's pretty cool, and especially if you've always wanted to play a 10th and you can't usually play a 10th with your size hands, check out this keyboard. It's really cool. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you have watched this far, why don't you say something about Athena? Maybe the Greek goddess, maybe something else in your comment as your secret word. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.